From Neural Newscast, this is Stereo Current, sound, culture, and the systems that shape them.
Stereo.
Welcome to Stereo Current. I am Sloan Rivera, coming to you on this 24th of May from a city that feels particularly alive with the hum of new frequencies today.
And I am Julian Vance. We are digging through the crates and the headlines to find the music that actually matters. The stuff that hits you in the gut, not just the ears.
Exactly. We are starting with something truly monumental. ESPN just reported that Yoko Ono is finally getting the massive indie star-studded live salute she has long deserved. The Broad is hosting Yoko Only on August 8th.
It is about time, Sloan. The lineup is staggering. Yola Tengo, Sleater-Kinney, Sylvan Esso, and Rufus Wainwright, curated by Yuka Honda, no less. It is part of the Music of the Mind exhibition running at the Broad through October.
It is interesting how long it has taken the mainstream to catch up to her avant-garde influence. Julian, I wonder if this younger generation of artists is finally stripping away the old Beatles narratives to see her radical imagination for what it was.
Absolutely. Younger musicians cite her as a foundational influence now. Honda mentioned how her ideas are like dandelion seeds that have landed in all our hearts. August 8th on East West Bank Plaza is going to be a transformative night.
Moving from avant-garde icons to emerging voices, Alexander Yearns recently spoke to A&R Factory about his upcoming headline show at Brooklyn Music Kitchen. He has been living in deep isolation for 2 years, and you can hear that quietness in the new songs. He described writing alone on his couch late at night. There was a tension there between the comfort of that solitude and a restlessness to break free. Plus, he's navigating a long-distance relationship, which he says changed the emotional temperature of his writing. I love that he plays 2 or 3 full sets a day at home, just as a ritual. He is reclaiming his catalog too, stripping down older songs to find the nerves that haven't been touched in a while. His mantra, "Keep the faith," feels less like a cliche and more like a survival tactic.
It is that stripped-back storytelling that reveals the deepest nerve. Speaking of depth, Spottiswoode just dropped Oh What a Beautiful World. It is a psychedelic 60s summer jam that acts as a retort to existential doom. It's eccentrically ingenious, Julian. His gravelly vocals have that Leonard Cohen weight, but without the bitterness. It's taken from his album It Wasn't in the Script, which apparently tackles fatherhood and rock and roll mischief. It is a kaleidoscope of visualized serotonin. In a scene that often leans into performative misery, Spottiswoode is injecting whimsy into the mundane. It's irreverent and affectionate all at once.
But for some, the reality is much heavier. ONEWAY, the Christian rock project led by Dustin Burkhard, released a single called Addicted this week. This isn't a song written from the safety of sobriety. It is a dispatch from the middle of the fire.
Dustin doesn't flinch. The line, "Will they stay or will they leave?" gets to the heart of the fear behind concealment. Musically, it is modern rock with piano and cinematic strings. But that bridge, "I can't hold on if I don't let go," that is where the emotional architecture really collapses.
It is nuanced. It doesn't offer a tidy resolution. The addiction remains, but the hope is just a hand extended in the dark. It is a meaningful alternative to more sanitized music.
On the other side of that emotional spectrum, we have Alexa Kate. Her latest, Not Your Fault, is this luminous, dreamy mid-tempo track about post-relationship longing. Sloan, she is a New York native who really understands how absence takes up space.
She has a line about memorizing the space and time of the almost that just stops you. It is a pop confession that feels like an ethereal lullaby. She has built a real community, Julian. People who show up for the physical mementos and the sincerity.
It is cinematic coming-of-age energy. Very tranquil, yet devastating. Transitioning now to some international flair, Paris-based quartet Ooma just released their sophomore EP, A Timeless Echo.
Tansy Greenlee's vocals are blissfully intoxicating. The track Cursed mixes those wordless harmonies with lounge keys. It is a blend of trip-hop, jazz, and soul that feels incredibly sophisticated, but still vulnerable.
I was struck by the track WTF Brain, with the slappy bass and funk pop vibes mixed with dreamy atmospherics. They're exploring celestial landscapes, but keeping the groove very much on the ground.
We also need to talk about Nin's interview with A&R Factory. She's moving toward an EP that explores some really heavy themes: self-erasure, sacrifice, and the body as a scoreboard for emotional safety.
Nin is so candid about the myth of feeling ready. She realized she was using songs to dodge the real stuff, and her new rule is, if a lyric makes her nervous to put out, it's the one that needs to stay. Her single Helmet was actually recorded without a metronome, purely human timing.
That organic feel is exactly what people are craving. She mentioned using imagery of warfare and injury, knives, guns, quartz, to describe emotional impact. It is intense, but the collaboration with her producer seems to have given her the confidence to trust her ear over the rules.
Trust in the ear is exactly what Citizen Smith did on their new record, Somewhere Between Leaving. They are out of Norwich, England, and the focus is raw, analog performance.
The track Superman is a total power pop success. Jangly guitars, hooky vocals about a hero who can't fly anymore. It is very melodic, but carries that melancholic weight. And Afterglow was recorded in a single take. You can hear the spontaneous emotion.
It reminds me of Parklife era Blur in its enthusiasm, but with a murky art rock intrigue underneath. It is honest and authentic. Just like Laji George, the Zootopia frontman, who just released his solo debut single, Alone.
Laji is a New Yorker by way of immigration, and he is channeling that 90s grunge DNA. Alone was born out of the tail end of the lockdowns. It has that heavy, introspective grit he is known for, but with a more intimate, solo perspective.
He has David Abruzzese, the former Pearl Jam drummer, in his corner for past work, so the grunge credentials are solid. Alone is the lead single for his upcoming album Out of Line, and it really feels like a statement of intent to reignite that grunge spirit for a new era.
To wrap things up, we have been looking at the editorial Finding the Balance on A&R Factory. It is a critique of the absurd expectations on independent artists in 2026. The pressure to be visible, reactive, and algorithm-aware is becoming a mental tax.
The piece hits on influencer fatigue. People can smell rehearsed vulnerability a mile away. The advice is consistency over frequency. Don't become wallpaper by posting a merch reminder every time someone logs in.
Julian, it is the big news coming soon cliché. It flattens personality. The best social presence in 2026 feels alive without being relentless. Disappearing with intention is often more powerful than screaming into the void.
Social media doesn't know if your lyrics will stay with someone for 10 years. It only knows watch time. Artists need to remember that the platform is a tool, not a verdict on their worth.
A perfect place to end today's briefing. Let the music lead the room and use the digital space only to keep the door open. It's time to round out the hour with our 10 essential listens for your week.
We're kicking things off with a couple of heavy hitters involved in that Yoko Ono tribute at the Broad. First up is Sleater-Kinney with Modern Girl, followed by Yola Tango's classic Autumn Sweater.
And of course, we have to include the icon herself. Yoko Ono's Walking on Thin Air is on the list to represent that enduring avant-garde spirit we discussed.
Next is 9 Inch Nails with The Day the World Went Away. It ties back to our deep dive on the body as an emotional scoreboard and that myth of readiness.
For something a bit more psychedelic, Spottiswood's Oh What a Beautiful World is a standout. It's a gravelly, optimistic answer to existential dread.
Moving into the local scene, we have Alexa Kate with Not Your Fault, which captures that tender post-breakup longing perfectly.
Then there is the jangly energy of Citizen Smith. Somewhere Between Leaving is a great example of the power pop coming out of the Norwich scene right now.
We are also looking globally to Paris with Ooma's A Timeless Echo. It is a beautiful jazz soul fusion track that highlights just how broad the indie landscape is.
Next is Mitski with Your Best American Girl. It is the perfect companion for anyone exploring vulnerability and authenticity in this performative age.
And we are closing out the list with a foundational piece of New York City noise, Teenage Riot by Sonic Youth.
And with that stack on your queue,
keep listening for the sincere voices. I'm Julian Vance.
And I am Sloan Rivera. This has been Stereo Current. Visit us at stereocurrent.neuralnewscast.com. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.
This has been Stereo Current on Neural Newscast. Sound, culture, and the systems that shape them.